LEGO pumps out 30 to 40 Star Wars sets every year. But quantity doesn't always equal quality.
You need to relax.
Here are my worst picks for each year.
This is sad. Very sad only.
In the early years, they were incredibly limited with the lack of piece variety.
What am I supposed to do with that?
So I'm going with the Droid Fighter. This set has a boring design and no minifigure. It's pretty pointless.
He's complacent, he's predictable, he's boring.
Why you bullying me?
Their follow-up year wasn't much better.
It was so bad.
In fact, I'd say it was worse. The Pod Racing Bucket is an actual set that came out in 2000. There was really no excuse for this set,
There's no excuse, and I'm sorry.
with many others this year pulling off the look of their respective ship. Swing and a miss.
Look, I know you tried.
You really let me down.
LEGO Star Wars was attempting to create Technic-built figures from 2000 to 2002.
That worked out.
And C-3PO is probably the worst offender from this year. It looks goofy, and it barely even resembles the character. What were they thinking?
What were you thinking?
What I do is just like you know, you know what I mean? Like,
2002 had a pretty good lineup of sets, but LEGO had one final run with their Technic sets, and I think R2-D2 is the loser of the group.
You're not a loser.
The design isn't completely terrible, but it's definitely the worst of the year.
We just love to forget about it.
Drop a like if you are enjoying this video on the first ever LEGO YouTube channel.
stop the cap.
What if he's telling the truth?
It changes everything.
This year is going to be too close to call. Jabba's prize and Jabba's message are both pretty equally forgettable.
I already forgot about it.
The minifigures aren't too bad on these sets, but honestly they should have just been included in the Jabba's Palace set.
I shouldn't have to explain it to you.
I tried my best. Try harder.
2004 was a nearly perfect year for LEGO Star Wars.
Almost perfect.
Production was in full swing at this point,
Keep them coming.
so it really boggles my mind why they would release a third iteration of the TIE Fighter and Y-Wing. The set originally came out in 1999, and this version isn't all that different.
It's the same.
Why they didn't just upgrade the builds,
Well, I got no clue.
this one's a real head scratcher.
Sometimes I really don't understand you.
Nobody could possibly understand.
2005 was another amazing year with all the Revenge of the Sith sets.
I am all the Sith.
But it was no competition for the ultimate lightsaber duel, which is not only the worst of the year, but arguably the worst of all time.
I can think of nothing worse.
The idea behind it is pretty cool, but fans complained that the mechanics didn't even work.
That's a bummer.
And it's a pretty ugly set too.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the f is that?
2006 was virtually a perfect year. Only 11 sets were released, and they were all exceptional in their own right.
Pick one.
I'm gonna have to go with the V-Wing Starfighter. There's nothing really wrong here, but compared to the rest, this one is the worst.
And I feel really bad about that.
You feel bad? No.
LEGO was on a hot streak at this point because 2007 was another amazing year, but I'll go with the Imperial Landing Craft. Again, nothing too offensive, but if I'm getting nitpicky,
Come on, don't nitpick.
the color scheme is a bit off, but not a bad set.
Really not that bad.
I'm sure we can all agree that the worst movie from 2008 is Twilight.
I'm really kind of the more suffer in silence type.
Who wrote this?
Well, the same goes for Star Wars. The Twilight is a goofy looking set,
It looks kind of goofy.
and it's incredibly overpriced.
What? I'm not paying for that.
Even in the Clone Wars, the Twilight doesn't look very good. Why they decided to turn it into a set, LEGO can sometimes be a mystery.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Shocker.
2009 was a pretty strong year, but the Hyena Droid Bomber was a letdown.
It's not good.
The legs are awkward and unstable, and it has a pretty uninspired design. This set bombed.
It's not the best, but not the worst.
You're probably sick of hearing it at this point,
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
but 2010 was another great year for Star Wars. My pick for this year is going to be the Republic Swamp Speeder. It does come with 5 minifigures, but only one exclusive.
That's it? Yeah, that's it.
The build is basic and a little overpriced if we're being honest.
You're broke! You're f***ing poor!
In 2011, LEGO had a remake of the Naboo Starfighter, which did see some nice improvements from the previous version. My problem lies in the price.
Of course it does.
$50 is what they were asking for this set.
You must be out of your fucking mind.
You might see a trend starting to form here, but in 2012, LEGO released the Gungan Sub. This is the only version we saw, aside from the 1999 set. The minifigures are good, but $70 is just way too much to ask for this.
You're just ripping people off.
Yeah? So what?
In 2013, Jack 14's Stealth Starfighter is my pick.
Never heard of it.
This set was a little overpriced, but it's just a funky looking ship, and it's also one of the few Star Wars original sets. Did you ask for those? I didn't.
Nobody asked you to.
But I did it anyway.
2014 was seriously a top 3 year for LEGO Star Wars, but they were still experimenting with their original content.
You gotta stop that.
And the Jedi Scout Fighter definitely bottoms out. This set isn't a complete loss. It came with this awesome Jedi Master minifigure, but I wish LEGO would just stick to the source material.
Stick to the script. Stick to the script.
You stupid.
I think 2015 is a pretty easy win for the worst of the year for the Imperial Assault Carrier. This set was decently priced, but the ship itself is pretty bulky and unappealing.
It's not pretty.
There's not much interior room for playability, and the TIE fighters here are a big L. I mean, what is that?
Seriously, what is that?
Burn it.
2016 was the beginning of a bit of a decline in LEGO Star Wars quality.
Seriously, what happened to you?
And this year, they made one of the most questionable decisions with Assault on Hoth. It's a huge mess.
Someone clean up the trash.
There's no focal point, it's just a combination of small playsets. And LEGO had the audacity to label it as a UCS set.
How dare you!
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
The First Order Heavy Scout Walker is a bizarre set.
What am I looking at?
This walker doesn't even appear in The Last Jedi. It looks silly, it's just pointless.
If I die tonight, no one would care.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel so bad for the 2018 pick because LEGO decided to decapitate it before releasing it to consumers. I mean, what can I say here?
We don't have the technology.
This is a $40 set. It's practically incomplete, huge misfire.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Oh, I will.
2019 had a lot of goofy sets, but the Action Battle Pack sets, or whatever they're called, was such a bad idea.
Really bad idea.
I'm not even sure how something like this makes it all the way to production.
You're a fucking disappointment.
LEGO did step up their game a bit in 2020, but my pick for this year is going to be General Grievous Starfighter. There's nothing actually wrong with this set. I think it looks great.
Look good to me.
But $80 for 500 pieces, I'll pass.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
And in 2022, we saw the worst version of the Imperial Shuttle. I get the idea of scaling it down to make it more accessible to a larger audience.
Look, I get it.
But this wasn't really needed, and the minifigure selection isn't that good either.
I mean, it's alright, like.
And my pick for last year is gonna be a hot take.
I would choose my next words very carefully if I were you.
But I think Luke's Landspeeder is pretty overrated.
Overrated as in my opinion. I mean,
It's not a vehicle I ever really wanted to see as a UCS set.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Click here to see the best Star Wars sets from every year.